Good morning. Welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday, the 27th of March. So looking at the euro dollar first, and as you can see, we've got a gap up here from Friday's close, heading pretty strongly up towards the daily 200 at this moment. It, of course, may not stop there. That 200 has been hit before, but it is certainly a target for where price may go in the near term. Now there is a risk when it's gaps that we could see the gap fill, but it may continue to run up first. So that gap fill could be for a later period. It could be for later today. Who knows? But at this stage, I wouldn't be trading against this move towards this 200. Okay, so as I say, it is early stages. It may change as we look through this market, and we're already through the R2 level in the daily pivots here. If we could hit that 200 moving average, perhaps things may change. The only other factor that may sort of get me looking short side now is if we break this 60-minute 8 moving average. If we start breaking back through that, well, we could be seeing a bit of a retrace. Now the daily pivot's well below the gap, actually. I say well below, but just below the gap. But this the gap has the potential to be filled. We'll see how we run. The weekly pivot is also below there, so we've got a couple of pivot targets there, which, as I say, may get hit at some point. The daily may be missed. The weekly may get caught at a later point, and this gap filled. Okay. So we'll look at the pound. So looking to the upside, I mean, obviously is where I'm thinking at the moment, and cable could be the same. We're sort of starting to push up also towards its daily 200 coming into view now. If I push this out a little bit further, that 200 comes in with prior highs and could be quite a nice target at some point. Less of an obvious gap on cable, but again, we've got a weekly pivot that's a bit below us, and there is a margin. There's a gap in price, not necessarily in the candle pattern, because of it closed at the lows. It opened near the high of the previous candle. Anyway, it's getting pretty close here towards the daily R3. Pivots are quite pinched. It may push through that because they're so pinched a little easier than it would normally. Again, for me to look at cable on any short side, I'd be looking for a break of this 8 moving average. I'd need to see some conviction in a move downwards. Otherwise, it's really a case of looking for retracements, maybe to buy to continue and see if we can watch this long go further. Dollar yen, again sold off. It wasn't pretty much as I expected for me. As we run towards the last few days, if we're going to see the repatriation, but we're also seeing a dollar weakness here. So we've seen a gap down on that intraday sort of gap, and it's closed within opened in the wick of the previous candle. Again, we've got a weekly pivot that's going to be sitting above us, as well as the dailies, but at the moment that too could be looking down towards its daily 200. So we're seeing a lot of potential of continuation as we see the voting fell for Trump in the US on his healthcare reform, and people are speculating that he may have problem getting his other plans through the houses. So on that basis, we've seen the overall dollar weakness. Now, as this could continue down towards 200, let's just go down the shorter time frames here. Again, if I was looking for longs, I would have to be looking for a break of that 8 moving average to consider anything. But there certainly is a gap there as well. So the gaps are right the way through these markets. Aussie dollar. Much less of a gap. In fact, I can't see much of a gap at all. Interesting this, it's been selling it. It did actually move up and sold off on after that. It did gap up, sorry, I just noticed it must have gapped up a little bit, and it's pulled already back and filled that gap. Now we have got the weekly pivot above, but it's not looking the strongest, bearing in mind, in fact, it's looking relatively weak compared to the other pairs against the US dollar. For any longs, I'd need to see a break of the highs here but the way it's been moving, I'd rather stay away from it. But it would need to break that level to get back to that weekly pivot. Maybe it's all over the daily at the moment. In fact, it's as the other market starts selling off, the Aussie might just sell off a bit more. Looking at the weakness that we're seeing here, breaking through that trend line and maybe pushing on towards the monthly S1. Okay, and the Canadian dollar, again a weakness. Let's just have a check on oil. It must have had a bit of a kick down. Yeah, oil did have quite a big kick down here, and that's probably affecting these two markets a lot more. Commodity prices would be off. You see, actually, the Canadian dollar is strengthening against the US dollar, has pulled back down somewhat, but there is a gap and it's moving a bit, maybe a bit quicker. Looking at the short time frame here, it's already through its 8 moving average is a point where I'd be looking at, would have been looking at maybe been a bit more bullish for this then. And so there is a chance the Canadian dollar could push back towards that daily pivot. Where's the weekly pivot hiding? Can't you see its weekly pivots in there? Where's it gone? Let's look back at the other market there to see where I was just above there. Okay, it's hiding underneath. Right. Okay, so that's got a potential of a push just a little bit further up there. The pivot being underneath that 250 MAs. So chance of pulling back towards that. Overall, though, I think in the European currencies, it's the pound, the euro. At the moment, I wouldn't look to stand in front of these. Maybe the CAD will see a bit more, and the Aussie dollar may be the weaker or alternative pairings against the US dollar, and may see those gaps filled. Right, that's it for me. News-wise today, there's nothing really significant. We've German IFO business climate's out at 8 o'clock. That's not much of a mover at all. All that's showing up as a key number. It generally moves very little. The market and little else there. Got FM speaker at 5:15. So after our trading session, really. So that's it. Have a great day. Bye for now.